After 7 years of practicing knotted locks, 5 of those teaching knotted locks, I began to realize that the practice enables my clients to have freedom of choice with the opportunity to begin to get to understand their African texture hair. This is done when they have to interact with their regrowth. So the spaces between relocking sessions for Knotted Locs clients are really important to help them understand their African hair texture better, so that by the time they sit in the chair, their language, their communication about their hair improves, and then I'm able, in turn, to give them feedback about their hair. What should happen is long-term, a fusion, a compatibility between the way I explain what I observe with their hair, together with them observing similar. If there are gaps between my client's knowledge and what I've discovered in their hair during our session, that is definitely dealt with, and a plan is put in place so that they basically continue to have thriving small size locks. What that looks like varies depending on the individual, their hair, their vision for their hair, and their lifestyle. When I show you knotted locks, I'm obviously showing you that I carry out a knotting process with knotted locks. But ultimately, locks is knots. Here is hair that was Sisterlocks, now knotted locks, and client has decided to come to sit in the chair with 5 months growth. It means that client is comfortable with that amount of growth. I don't get to dictate when the client decides when they want the hair relocked. My knotting technique is used to keep the hair separated. There is a trick with learning to separate your locks. And so when clients first get introduced to knotted locks, one of the things they have to get used to is the recovery strands growing between the gaps where there used to be fixed grids. And during my session, I teach clients how to keep their locks separated longer. So the first stage of adapting and getting used to knotted locks after 4 to 6 weeks retightening is your growth, your density, and getting used to separating your hair and interacting with your hair. A year from now, you get comfortable with it, but you've got to expect challenges. Now, when you sit in the chair, I then give you feedback. I also relock your hair knowing I don't know the next time I'm going to see you. Hence the reason why you see a lot more scalp. And that's because I knot it. I knot it and I interlock, depending on what each lock requires. This is close-up of my work for you to understand. When you see knotted locks, you won't necessarily see a difference. It's much more of you feeling the difference, the thickness, understanding your regrowth, feeling your density change. Again, this is just an example of one client's experience transitioned from Sisterlocks to knotted locks. As I explain when I share my posts, each client's experience is different, and therefore knotted locks is different from person to person to person to person.